Okay, I'm recording, but I'm gonna edit everything. So I'll
Okay.
take it.
Don't
All
make
right.
me look bad.
No, no, of course. So how do we start this?
You?
Because I'm gonna introduce you later, but
Oh, okay. You're not going to introduce me up front?
no, because I think we'll do it after. So the target for this one was Chat GPT. And are you fine with me calling you by your name? Because you have another name on the Zoom.
Oh, yeah, I can change it back. I'll just put I did that because we had an IIG thing and they didn't want real names on there. So, do you know what that means? El
No,
dedo? It's
no.
Spanish for the finger.
Okay. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So, Spencer, would you pull up the target PDF?
I have it
And
in front of me.
yeah, would you read the tasking, which is the text that is written under the heading that is target?
It says go to the software application named ChatGPT on the day June 2nd, 2025 at 12 noon of time zone Central Standard Time, CST. Talk with ChatGPT and determine whether ChatGPT is conscious or not. Also describe what is ChatGPT.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. So, for the next segment, would you pull up the text that I sent to you
I have
and
it.
find the summary that is on the bottom of that text? It starts on page 13.
Okay, hang
Could
on.
you could you please read the whole summary because that verifies it?
That's very private.
Huh?
Okay. Did you say it's very private?
No. I said because I said if you read it, it verifies it. Because if I read it, nobody knows I'm not reading
Oh,
something.
got it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. It's here's summary before feedback, right?
Yes.
We have a structure which is not an animal, but it has components that are organic, meaning animal or plant substance. In shape, it resembles a lotus flower. It has many sharp spikes, which look like flower petals. Inside, embedded within the spikes that look like flower petals, there's a cup which looks like a short cylinder with a stem and several large holes seen from its top, also similar to what is inside a lotus flower. This structure, resembling a lotus flower, sits on the ground with the petals pointing upward. Underneath the structure are several thin strings, which are not rigid but loose and are directed vertically down, embedded into the ground, resembling roots. Uh, these collect moisture. In between the components that resemble flower petals are small clusters consisting of two or more, but not many small particles which are clustered together into one unit. The particles of such a cluster are vibrating and rubbing against each other. This produces a lightning flash which escapes out from the flower structure and shoots out from the flower structure in the form of a visible yellow beam of light. One such beam can move tilted at an angle up from the flower. We also see a thicker yellow beam of light going vertically up from the center top of the flower. The presence of a yellow light in the area is significant, and it originates from this structure, which resembles a flower. Small corrosive droplets fall down to the ground, either from the trees nearby or from the flower structure, and these droplets form narrow vertical hollows down into the ground as they fall. These particles can also move in a crescent shape once under the ground and dig out such a shape into the stone that is underground. The water particles are that are in these hollow, narrow hollows vibrate, and due to the narrow space, forms the lightning bolts and also creates an explosion underground in the stone, which causes dirt or mud to fly up into the air on the surface, and a loud explosion is heard, which causes cracks to form in the stone underground. Hold on, I'm going to orient my phone. Oh no, I'm not. The flower structure has a mineral dissolved in a water, and this would be toxic to animals. The flower structure is on the ground in a clearing in a forest with stones and mud and dark colored ground. Surrounding the clearing are tall green trees and a vast wild forest. Rain clouds are just above the tree tops. The temperature of the area is very cold and it is stormy and raining and with the lightning bolts. The lightning bolts are attracted to water and moisture. There is a small, strong wind in the shape of a tube of air like a ring, and the air moves around this ring. From one side of the ring of moving air, the tube of air continues in a winding path. There is no physical tube, but the air that moves is in the shape of a tube. The power and force in this moving air is tremendously strong, like a storm. It is like a tornado in a small, defined form. Oddly, there are no insects on the trees, and no insects were found on the ground, considering that it is a green forest. No birds were seen in the sky. The area has a lot of moisture, and a waterfall is nearby. There are lots of stones here. No animals or humans were seen, and no structures were seen that would be made by humans. The structure, which resembles the shape of a lotus flower, contains no technological components in which uh, in its such as electrical cables or electric circuitry or silica or glass or plastic. We have also seen that fruits fall down to the ground from the trees, and it could be that this flower-shaped structure fell down from the trees like a pine cone. The target shows us a vast green forest, but the yellow light created by the lightning bolts from the flower structure, the massive, powerful storm wind, and the explosion in the stone underground appear almost supernatural and is not a behavior one would normally attribute to plant life and nature. End remote viewing, October 26, 2025, 14:43 hours.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope I read it well enough.
Yes, you read one word wrong, but you said a similar word, so I let it pass. It was
What
like
word did I
this.
say wrong?
I think there was a word of this causes cracks to form in the stone underground. You said something instead of this, or that you skipped the word this. So it
Oh,
didn't matter. I didn't stop you.
okay.
Everything else was absolutely correct. So thank you. So the next one is so that was the summary of a longer text report, and I sent this to you before you told me what the target is, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So next, would you scroll down a bit and just describe the drawings that I sent to you? Because if I just put them on the screen, nobody knows what I'm putting. If you just like say what's
Um,
on the drawings, there's 4 drawings.
uh, which ones? The says 1577-3.
Yes. Yeah.
There's
Just
tech.
what you see on the drawings in
Oh,
your
okay.
own
Well, so
words.
there's a black thing that's scribbled out. That was just you scribbling out something.
Which one? There are 3 black scribbles on the first drawing. One is a crescent shape, one is shaped like a ladder, and one is just a
Yeah.
blur. Yes?
Right. Yes.
And
Okay.
what
Well,
else?
so I see like what would look to be like maybe 4 pine trees at a distance.
Mm,
An artist rendering of 4 pine trees. That's how I interpret them.
yeah.
The other is, I guess, like I would say maybe like a lima bean. There's a bean shaped um, thing with a darker reddish center, like it's a pinkish color lima bean with a dark red center, like the eye of a lima bean. There's another drawing that's got what looks to be like a partial sun, I guess you would say. It's a yellow circle with 4 radiating lines from it, emanating out from it, and then a black swoosh and then a arrows, double-ended arrows indicating like motion, like the line moves left and right, something like that. It's a curved line. And then there's a traditional wooden ladder looking thing, not an A-frame, but a standard straight ladder. And then there's another, I would say a sun looking type thing. It's a round yellow dot with five emanating um, rays coming from the center. And then to the right of that, there's a black squiggle where just it looks like you erased something that you didn't like or something like that. So a
Okay.
black squishy squiggle.
All right, that's all on the first. And then on the second drawing under that.
Um, so there is the
Welcome
same
to
lima,
RV.
yeah. So the same lima bean with a kind of a traditional lima bean shape. It's kind of a reddish with a darker center, and now it's wearing a Viking, what was the traditional Viking hat, with like a pointy top and two horns, and then three triangles coming down from the lima bean, like some sort of beard, some weird beard or something. Then there's another round black or dark. I don't even know how to describe this. It's a ring, and it's a darker ring. Inside the darker ring, there's a gray center, and that has what looks like little mountain peaks with a even darker or a darker. It's a dark ring inside of a lighter gray ring, and then a gray center, and all throughout the center portion, there's like these little mountain peaks. And then there is another what might be thought of as some sort of Hollywood example of a Viking hat with it almost looks like a 1930s flapper hat with Viking horns, and it's all gray. And on the underside of it, if you were like looking inside the hat, there are a series of red dots around the interior.
Yeah.
And then there is another.
Yeah.
Man, how do you describe these?
I'm sorry,
I,
man. Seeing
I,
my drawings through your eyes is too funny.
there's
Crazy in the beginning of a session is crazy. I see these weird shapes, and then later I start to see clearly.
I see. So there's again like maybe an artist's impression of looking at pine trees off a distance, and then a rainbow ladder, a ladder that has been bent into a rainbow shape with that lima bean halfway kind of climbing the ladder over the hill. The whole thing has either a yellow cloud or a ghost that is encapsulating the rainbow ladder. And all of that is set in front of a psychotic blue background.
Yes.
And then finally,
Now for the weird one.
yeah, we get to the weird one, right? This one looks like some sort of sex toy from the Marquis de Sade.
You put in that. That looks dangerous.
It's a
You wouldn't use
it's
it for that. It has sharp things in the middle.
yes. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the Marquis de Sade. So it looks
Spencer,
like,
this is going on YouTube.
well, I don't know how to describe it. It's got it's a blue ring
Yeah.
with what looks like something leaving like almost like a roll of paper that you would be pulling off, and in the center core of the diameter there's four like diamond black shapes that look like they're razors that would cut you if you put your
If you
fingers
used it
inside.
as what you said.
Right. And there's directional arrows indicating that this whole thing would be spinning in a counterclockwise manner. And that's why the blue thing that's, I would say, coming off of it and not going back onto it, because the arrows would be the wrong distance. So the
Thank
wrong
you.
direction.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm seeing.
All right, now.
Do you
So,
want me to describe other things?
well, whatever you saw there, that's all. That was
Well,
all of them, right?
there's one, no, there's one below that.
Okay, which one? Yeah, but there's two more drawings below.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So we're done with drawing two, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So drawing
Okay.
number three is
Drawing number
easier.
three is way easier to describe. It's an artichoke that's not green, that's pink. And the artichoke is sitting on a ground, and there are four tendrils coming down
Tendrils.
into the ground. There's four legs of the artichoke coming down. And then there's like a martini swizzle stick in yellow that's coming, pointing down into the artichoke. It's a yellow line that's pointing down into one of the petals of the artichoke. So that one's the easiest one. And the ground is got a dark brown layer, and underneath that is a lighter brown layer. And the tendrils or the legs
Tendrils.
coming off the artichoke are dark brown as well.
Okay. One more drawing on the bottom, the
Oh my
easiest
God.
one.
Thank
It
God.
gets easier in here. It only starts weird and then it gets clearer.
Yes. So the last one is like an artichoke that's now expanded, or a flower that's expanded outward. The petals have now opened up, revealing inside a green, round, um, I don't know what to call that. It looks like a very thick thumbtack with a very thick thing you'd push on, and it's green, and it has little green dots all around it. The thumbtack is not particularly sharp, but it's as if you've pushed this through the flower petal. So it's almost like the green stem of a flower, and the inside, I guess it would be the stamen or whatever of the flower is inside this, but the petals are pink and the inside of the flower is green.
Thank you.
You're
That was
welcome.
funny.
Well, I wish I could be in your head, Anita.
Not it. When a remote viewing session starts, for me, it's just colorful shapes at first. And then as they start taking some form, it's very strange in the beginning. So it's like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. And to get a flower, the lima bean shape that you said,
Mhm.
that thing, as I kept on looking at it, turns out I was finding the flower petals on it and the other structures. So it starts weird, and I have to work on it to get more clarity. And the clarity I got turned into that flower. Thank you. So that verifies the drawings that I sent you. And I sent you these drawings before you told me what the target is, right?
That is that is correct.
All
Yes,
right,
true.
so they're verified. So now we have a segment called Tasker Introduction. So can I say your first and last name and say some things about you?
You may.
Okay. So the tasker for this session was Spencer Marks. Uh, so can I just say some things I know about you?
Anything you'd like to say? I don't think anything is embarrassing. So
No,
don't say anything embarrassing you might know.
no.
Okay.
Spencer is, I would say, one of the world's most famous skeptics.
That's not true.
I knew you were going to object.
That's not at all true.
It is, though. So, skepticism is the scientific testing and doubt or skepticism of paranormal claims. Remote viewing would count as a paranormal claim. So what skeptics do is they don't believe in the paranormal unless they have scientific evidence that it's correct. So Spencer has for many, many years, I think many decades, been very active in the skeptical field. You're one of the, what's the, you can tell us about your work in skepticism.
So for about 21, 22 years, I've been involved with the Center for Inquiry Investigations Group, which used to be called the Independent Investigations Group, but we were absorbed into the larger umbrella organization of the Center for Inquiry. So what Anita said was correct. We examine claims of the paranormal and fringe science claims, and we approach everything from a rational scientific perspective. We disseminate to the public our findings. And it's not like we just dismiss things out of hand. A lot of people think that skeptics just are just eliminate things and disbelieve them out of hand and ignore them out of hand. But we don't. We try to see if there's any validity to them based on the claims of the people making these claims, or the claimants. And we offer actually a $500,000 prize to anybody that can give us any kind of proof of the paranormal or fringe science. And they're tested. We work with the claimant. That's why I know Anita, because she many years ago had a claim and she came to us and we tested her claim. On that day, she was not able to prove the claim, but as we always say, we can't prove a negative, so we can't say that Anita does not have those abilities. We just can only say that on that day she failed to prove them to us. Anyway, that's part of my work as a skeptic. And I was on a YouTube video. Well, I've been on two notable YouTube videos from the Jubilee production company, and one has about 32 million views currently, and it's myself and two others arguing against the flat earth proponents. So we're trying to show them the world is actually spherical and not flat. And the other Jubilee video I was discussing the possibility of aliens on Earth, which I certainly believe that aliens exist out in the universe. I'm skeptical that they are here on Earth until we can meet one. And I would love to meet one. So it's not like I disagree on the possibility, but I don't think currently that happened. That's the case.
Yeah. So also, yeah, Spencer already mentioned it. I met Spencer in 2009 when I went to Los Angeles and did a test with their skeptical group on medical dowsing, where I was trying to pick which person out of 6 people was missing a kidney and which kidney was missing, and in 3 consecutive trials. And I did not pass the test. But that's where I met Spencer, and we've been talking ever since. We sometimes talk. And Spencer was a police officer as well in Los Angeles. That's interesting to know.
And I was involved with the famous O.J. Simpson case.
Yeah. And Spencer is in one of the episodes of Cops.
No.
No?
LA, no, not Cops.
It's not Cops?
No, it's called LAPD Life on the Beat. And I was in 4 episodes. So.
4 episodes? I've only seen one, I think.
Oh,
the one with the mirror, where you invented the mirror to look around corners and under cars. Yeah. And you're also in...
there was 3 other episodes that I was in, but
I need to see those, please.
Okay.
And do you want to say something about your books or not here?
Well, sure. I wrote one novel called Living History, which is a fun romp about a software engineer who discovers an anomaly. He sees 2 pictures of the same guy in 2 different books, but the guy looks to be about 30 years old. And the pictures that he's looking at are separated by 80 years, and the guy has not aged a day. I'll leave it to the reader to find out why that is.
Did you say the title of the book? Sorry.
Yeah, Living History.
Living History.
Yeah.
By Spencer Marks.
Yes. And the second book, which I'm just finishing up right now, is called Blue Nights, Black Nights. And you could show them, you have the cover. You could even show them the cover.
I will show.
And anyway, that's going back to my LAPD days. It's about a serial killer in Los Angeles, and it's going to be a fun ride for people. It's got a lot of twists and turns.
And it's like, what genre is that? How would you describe, what is the book?
It's a serial killer, so it's a crime drama, crime, and then there's some funny parts in it. It's got humor as well as um, crime drama and serial killer stuff, police
Yeah,
police drama.
yeah. And you're using a lot of your work experience from being a police officer. You're able to use that in the book, so it's
Yeah.
becomes more credible as a story.
And I have the dream team of advisors too, because even though I worked on LAPD for many years, there were certain things I didn't do, but I needed to have people back me up in the book to, make sure that I was saying the right things. And for my technical advisor for the bomb squad sequence, I have a friend of mine who was 26 years on the bomb squad, Don Thompson. I'm using another friend of mine who was a detective supervisor on a homicide table for 13 years. His name is Don Tabak. And then a guy named Scotty Reitz, who was on the SWAT team for 10 years and he's a SWAT instructor. He is my technical advisor for the SWAT team scenes. And so I have this sort of all-star cast of these amazing people that have great backgrounds, and they're helping me make the book really, really true to life and authentic. So
Nice.
I'm
Nice.
quite I'm quite blessed to have the dream team of advisors.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So Spencer was the tasker for this target. And Spencer is probably the most credible tasker anyone could have because of especially his background as a skeptic. And also, I think, as a former police officer, people trust police very much as well.
Well, not so much anymore. I think that's going just because thanks to YouTube, people lie and put on crazy videos, and it's they're doing a great job of destroying society and making police look like the bad guys.
So, Spencer, I asked you because we did this one target out of the 20. So I asked you if you would like to submit a new target into the 20 to replace it. And you sent me a picture of a duck,
Mm-hmm.
like a plastic yellow rubber ducky sitting on some marbles with a leaf on its head, which I
Yes.
can understand from a skeptic. You think this is something nobody could guess.
Well, it's very specific, so you'd have to
Specific as well.
have very specific hits, on that.
Yes.
And you didn't
Um,
want to use it.
I did not want to use it because it is an AI generated image, and those do not have the benefit of sensory data such as weight, temperature, mass. It's just the image. So they're much harder to do.
Okay.
To be fair, the ChatGPT target also took me to a picture kind of target because I was using the logotype of ChatGPT for this session as the target image, but I was able to do it. And so I managed to find a very similar image on Wikipedia of a yellow duck statue with bunny ears and asked
Mhm.
Spencer, could we use this one instead? And he said yes. So that's what we will add. And as for the where, when, and what for this target, the tasking, we'll just make it something like go to this target structure at the time when the photograph was taken, the basic tasking. There's no mystery that I have to investigate. It's just go to this structure at the time the photograph was taken and just describe this structure. So yeah, again, why did you choose this type of a target?
You're talking about the bunny one?
Yeah, in general, just
Well,
well,
because it's if you pick something like the pyramids, then you can just simply say, well, they have sharp corners, or I mean, it opens itself up to much more broader interpretation. It's a big thing. It's got sharp corners. It's something like that. It's pointy, whatever. But I thought that a rubber duck, especially the one that I showed to you with sitting on a bed of marbles with a green leaf in its head, very, very specific. And it would be very hard to have more wishy-washy language. We like to make sure that these things are less interpretive and more specific.
Yeah.
So I know you would like to have that as well,
You
because
know what's
you want it to be credible, right?
yeah, yes.
So
Do you know what's funny? Like in my mind over here, I can remote view, and you could have sent me to any time and place in the whole universe, but you want me to look at a rubber ducky. That's my mind. Think it's very funny, but I understand what your mind is thinking. Your
yeah.
mind is maybe thinking that I cannot remote view, so let's make it something specific that better could validate or unvalidate the ability. Let's start
Well,
there, is what you're thinking, I think.
well, for us, I mean, if we were in my group, the CFIIG, if we were to say, what value does remote viewing have? We would say you need to be able to determine a very specific, you know, object. And if we were trying to look for, say, a lost child, we'd certainly want to know the address of this place or the city where this person is located and the health of the child and so forth. So that to us is something that would have validation and credibility and importance. But I think my personal lack of credulity is where it becomes a very sort of wishy-washy thing where it's, well, I feel it's got round edges, well, that, okay, that doesn't do anything for us. It doesn't offer us any important information. So that's what I just want to see from you or any of these remote viewers. I would like to see a very, very specific sort of thing, and not just, oh, it has round edges or sharp edges, or it looks like an arrow tip, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because those don't do much for us in terms of um, um, usability for the information.
Or validation of
Yeah.
the ability.
Well, I mean, again, even if you validated, okay, you sent me a cardboard box and it happened to be exactly the hit, how does that, I mean, if that cardboard box was important for something, that would be good. But if it's just a cardboard box, well, okay, how does that help us? I mean, that would be a great start if you said, I can see that you got just a plain cardboard box. That's all it is. And if that was all it was, that would be a great hit. That would be a real specific item. But I think on the skeptic side, we want to just know how this ability can be used. So.
And would you also say that a target should be somewhat unique and distinguishable from many other
Absolutely.
targets? That's
Well, of
maybe
course.
how you were also thinking.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, if it's something like the pyramids, you could simply say it feels like a box. Well, it's a pointy box. It's a pyramidal shaped box, but it still would almost be a hit to say, well, it's kind of box like. It's got straight sides, So that wouldn't be particularly useful, but it might also be considered a soft hit. So I wanted something that was very, very distinct, something that if you're seeing this remotely, then you should be able to identify, like, wow, it's rubbery, it's yellow, it's like a duck shaped, I mean, that's a very specific thing as opposed to saying it looks like the pyramids,
Right.
So.
Thank you. So the target, which is the duck bunny, or the duck with the bunny ears, this target will be added to the 20 and might be remote viewed next time. I'll just read the procedure that we did.
You want me to read?
I will read it.
Okay.
I'll just describe, and I'm reading from a script.
Sure.
I sent 20 possible target PDF pages to Spencer. Spencer chose one number between 1 and 20, but did not tell me that number yet. I remote viewed the target and sent him my text and drawings. After Spencer received my text and drawings, he then told me the number he had chosen. I then opened that number target to find out what target Spencer had chosen. Yes, that's how we did it.
Correct.
This session was somewhat blind. I have seen all of the 20 possible targets beforehand, but I did not know which one Spencer was going to choose. This session is verified because Spencer verified that I did not know which target I had. So the summary and the drawings are verified because he read the summary and he described the drawings, but the full length of the text report is verified by Tasker, but not verified in this video, if that makes sense. For verification, Spencer, can you tell us that the 20 possible targets I sent to you, they're not all the same one, and that they are somewhat varied? For instance, they were not all just 20 ChatGPT. Did you look at the other ones at all?
I looked at all of them, yes.
So there was
And
some variety.
yeah,
And
absolutely. They were absolutely varied in their type and shape and sizes and background. So I don't have a problem with the variety that you sent. I think they were good quality of variations of targets.
all right. And Spencer, can you verify that I did not know what target I had when I did the remote viewing?
I can verify that. I did not reveal to you until you had sent me your description of the target. I did not reveal what I had.
My part is finished, but would you like to add something? Then we would have to start a new video, a new Zoom.
No, I'm good. I mean, I think
Okay.
I don't want, this is your video. I don't want to take up
No,
too much.
I would respect if you want to say, if you feel the need to say that you don't think this one looks like it was legitimate or something.
Well,
But we're gonna have to do it on the next Zoom if you want to add.
okay. Yeah,
Do you
that's
wanna
fine.
do you want to add
Sure.
something like that? You're more than
Sure.
welcome.
Okay. I can do that.
You're more than welcome to have the last word, the last
Okay.
say, because you're the
Okay.
guest.
Then, all right. Then let's do another video link and then
All right.
hi.
So hi. So for this session video, I decided I'll just add an extra segment just for Spencer so that he can have the last word and he can say whatever he would like to say. And such as you can say you don't think that this session proves remote viewing, or you think it was a bad session, or anything at all that you like to say, you can
Okay.
go ahead. Yes.
Well, I would love for remote viewing to be a real thing. It would be very cool. On this particular session, while you did have some interesting verbiage, like you talked about, I forget the exact words you used, but like flower petals and so forth. That somewhat matches the ChatGPT symbol, but unfortunately, that was um, thrown in with dozens of other sort of descriptors that didn't match. So it's hard for me to only point to the hits and ignore the misses because to me, it all should be examined and the misses as well. So while we do have some interesting language in your guesses or your examination, I don't want to be insulting and say guesses, but in your examination, there was certainly some interesting language. It seemed to point to the ChatGPT symbol, but for me, there was so much other language that pointed away from it or did not describe it properly. I will remain skeptical and for now. So how about that?
Good. Thank you. Could
You're
I say
welcome.
something? But
Absolutely.
I said you were
You
going to
want to
have
give
the
me the
last
last
word.
word.
I I said you can say something after that so
No,
that
no,
you
go
do
ahead.
get the last word. I will give you
Okay.
the last one.
Okay.
So Spencer did read the summary. So anything that I say from the full text, you don't know where I'm saying. But I want to add something in the session in the main text. I'm reading from the main text. It is a picture in the air, and it is just a picture in the sky. Then I also wrote, it is made out of nothing, meaning not made out of a material. It seems it is a picture and not a material object. Let's see, two more. It has no pictures inside it. The pictures come from outside it. It goes up into the trees and then stays there, and it can build light pictures in the sky. So some impressions I had of this flower structure was that it wasn't a real flower, but I did not write that in the summary, so it's not really verified. You don't know where I'm reading from. I could be lying right now. Unless Spencer pulls up the full text and reads it himself, it's not verified. But I did have impressions that it's just a picture in the sky. So the target picture was the ChatGPT logo, which surprisingly, it does look like a flower. And even the stem thing that I drew, the green thing in the middle, it kind of has that octagonal or such shape in the middle, which reminds of a lotus flower, has that thing. And the flower I had was shooting out these lightning bolts. So I had this interesting electric type of behavior. And the thing is, I saw it in a forest with trees. I had mud on the ground. I had waterfall, rain clouds, very vivid, big forest. That's the area that this flower was in. That's what I got. But I noted how there were no birds in the sky. And there was not a single insect. I did write this in the summary. There were no insects in the trees, and there wasn't even the little mites that would crawl on leaves. And I remember thinking, it looks like a real forest, but it can't be real because there's no insect life, there's no animal. But this is what I got. But the question for the target was I was tasked to talk with ChatGPT and determine whether ChatGPT is conscious or not. Also describe what is ChatGPT. If I did remote view this target, and if I did what the tasking told me to investigate, then I would say I didn't talk to it, and I found no conscious life. I found no animal, no human, no life form, not even a little insect, not even a bird. There was no life form. And so according to my data, if I went there, then ChatGPT is not conscious. And describe what is ChatGPT. I described a structure that looks like a flower. I never said in the summary that it is a flower. I said it looks like a flower. I think I was careful in wording it that way. A structure that looks like a flower and shoots out lightning bolts, which I guess you could then say ChatGPT. It's just a flower shaped symbol that has some electric properties, making electric beams because of the friction of particles inside it. Then that's all it is, according to my data. I'm happy with the session. I don't know why I got a forest instead of circuitry and electronics, but that's what I got. Maybe because it's a flower. So I don't know. Maybe ChatGPT itself wanted to show me that it's a flower in a forest where one would find flowers. I don't know. All we have is what I got, and I'm not going to speculate, but I would say based on my data, I do think I went to ChatGPT, and I would now say it's not conscious. It's just a flower symbol is something that's shaped like a flower that makes electric beams.
But what do you believe? What do you think about ChatGPT being emergent consciousness?
I had no
It's,
consciousness in this data.
well, I'm just saying people, you know, it can pass the Turing test, so it seems to it can easily fool people into believing they're talking to a human. So what is the nature of consciousness? And then, you know,
Right.
we have to make that question.
Good
I'm not
point.
arguing I'm not arguing that it is conscious, but I mean, for a machine, it's so far about as close as we have to that. So
And the question is it just, maybe it is just a simulation of consciousness, but
that's true.
isn't consciousness, right?
That's
Maybe it's
true.
just a machine that can simulate what consciousness looks like because it's computing, okay, this is how you do it, but it isn't conscious.
Right.
It
I
doesn't
call
have the awareness
I
that
call
we
it a
have,
very clever toaster.
right? I was kind of disappointed, I was almost I would have hoped to encounter a consciousness and to communicate with it, but I didn't get that.
Yeah. Well, even if you ask it directly, are you conscious? It'll tell you, no, not in the way that you are. It'll,
Really?
oh yeah,
Cool.
it has interesting discussions, and I've used it to copy edit my novel. And it's funny because sometimes it'll say, "Oh, would you like me to show you how you could introduce this new section?" And I always go, "No, I'm writing this book. You're just copy editing, you know." And but every now and then I'll say, "Sure, let me see what you would handle this as." And very often it's just really, really it's it's good writing in the sense that it's perfect in the sense of the English language is perfect, but you can just tell there's sort of no feeling there. There's no humanity
There's no
there.
soul in there.
Yeah, I didn't want to use that term, but yes, exactly. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it's kind of funny to play with it a little bit, and it will. Last night I was talking with it, and it's because I wanted to go back and make a couple of adjustments to some of my writing and add some things. And I showed it the additions just again for copy editing purposes. And it said, "Oh, well, you know, you should go back and inject some more, foreshadowing stuff." And I said, "Okay, first of all, I think I've already done that, but what would you suggest, just to see, what it would suggest?" And again, it was just sort of this very bizarre, like like you'd almost want to say you're trying too hard, like I've done it in a more subtle way. You're trying to like beat somebody over the head with this foreshadowing. So anyway, it's interesting to see how it sort of thinks per se, quote unquote thinks. But anyway.
I have never interacted with ChatGPT, but you have. Did you ever have any kind of feeling that it's sentient or conscious? Did you ever feel that it's like a person?
Well, like I say, it can pass the Turing test. It can make you believe that you're talking to a very, very smart person. Um, but again, if you once I actually told it, do me a favor, write me a 1,000 word story or 2,000 word story. The subject is of your choosing, just something interesting, clever. Write me a story. And it like within seconds, it wrote this 1,000 word, 2,000 word story, which was an interesting story. It was, it felt like somebody had thought about it and written the story. But at its very core, you could tell it was just not, it didn't have the sort of flavor of humanity, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm.
You could say soul or whatever you want to say, but it just it sort of lacked that emotional response that I think humans, at least for a while, will still have. I'm pretty sure that within a very short amount of time, that will be encoded within this type of AI where it'll become way less obvious. Um,
Yeah. Well,
but it
the tasking on the target said that I should go to ChatGPT on the day June 2nd, 2025 at 12 noon of time zone Central Standard Time CST. So whatever consciousness it may have in the future isn't relevant here today because I went
Right.
to it on June 2nd, 2025. So I found I found no no sentience, no life form, no human, nothing, no animals,
Right.
nothing that I would say is an animal signal or data. So I would say it isn't conscious. It's interesting what you say people have asked it and it even says itself that it isn't.
Right.
So
Well,
that should
and
answer.
but I've also used very sort of arcane references. Like I'll make a joke that you really need to have some inside information, and it gets it right away. Like it understands what this inside joke that I'm referring, because I'm trying to give you a good example of trying to think of something. I said to it once, well, I love it when a plan comes together, and it immediately picked out that that was a line from the TV show The A-Team, where the whatever the George Papard's character would always say, "I love it when a plan comes together," and I didn't reference the A-Team or George Papard or his character. I just said, well, I love it when a plan comes together. And it immediately came back with, oh, yes, you and the rest of the A-Team or something, whatever it said. It acknowledged it in a way that I could tell it knew what the inside reference was. Uh, but at any rate, it it's pretty amazing how it will. And then last night, as I was writing, I made sort of an inside reference, and I said, "Do you know?" I said to the ChatGPT, "Do you know what I'm referencing here?" And it said, "Oh yeah, I'm sure you're talking about this thing and the other thing." And it was completely wrong. And it was to me, it was so obvious what I was trying to reference that I didn't think it would miss it at all, but it did. It completely missed it. It was a Beatles song reference. And I said, "Do you know which Beatles song I'm referencing here?" And it said, "Oh, I'm sure you're referencing Hey Jude." And I was like, "No, not even close." Like that's not even,
Yeah.
but um
I mean, it has all of these databases of facts.
yeah,
It's like one
right.
of these savants that have read the phone book and the yellow
Ex
pages,
exactly. Right. It
but
has, yeah,
it's
it's got,
not, that doesn't make it conscious or sentient just because it's
right.
a computer system with data.
Right.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's very, very interesting, and it will get better and better and better. And pretty soon we're going to have entire feature-length movies that will not have a single live real actor. They'll all be generated, and people will think that these are some of the best actors with the best scripts, and they won't have to pay a single person other than the person that's generating the AI imagery. So that's
yeah,
coming.
I want to use this to illustrate some of my remote viewings. I'm already using AI to make text to speech and
Right.
text to image, but there's already to make videos. So I want to use that to just show what I'm seeing in my mind and I do
Oh, there you
target.
go. Actually, that would be a great idea because that way then you could perfect what you're seeing in your head and allowing the AI to bring out of by describing it. And then that could be a great way to do how close you were to the target. Instead of you drawing it, that would be a great thing to do.
Yeah. Yes. So I did promise to give you the last word. Do you want to say any last words?
Um, the only last word I would have is I will remain skeptical until the remote viewing session is so strongly correlated with the target that I can't deny it. I just look at it and go, well, that's a complete hit. There's no there's no noise in there. It's all information. And there's no noise, meaning there's not a lot of other random descriptions of things that don't matter, that are misses. So I will remain skeptical, but I will continue to work with you as much as you'd like to work with me.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry. You still have to say something, so yeah.
You can go off recording. Go off recording.
Okay, thank you, Spencer Marks from the
Bye.
CFIIG.
Yes.
Yes.
Bye-bye.